everyone, welcome back to Let's Talk with Mariama, your channel of motivation, inspiration and positive vibes. So today we're going to talk about how I got integrated in the Swiss system. Integration is a super important aspect of feeling at home in Switzerland, and I think one of them for me was learning the Swiss, learning German and also understanding Swiss German. And if you are not in Switzerland and do not know the difference, German is the High German that is officially written and spoken in Switzerland and in Germany, Austria and all that. And then the Swiss German is like a dialect that the Swiss speak. In the different regions you have different accents, but I live in Zurich, so I find that much easier to understand, and probably it's because I've been living around Zurich Deutsch people, so that is the reason, I guess. Then I started my German classes a week after I got to Switzerland because I had a goal, and my goal was to do my master's, and in order to do my master's I had to learn German. So my goal was very, very clear. And then, you know, integration was one part that I didn't think about at the beginning. I was just like, oh no, I need to learn German in order to start uni in September, and that was then in February. And so it was super intense for me, like, and I went to a German school that is super good grammatically and all that. So every Friday was an exams, and if you fail 3 times in 10 weeks module, you have to repeat the whole module again. So it was quite intensive, but I have to be honest, then I never had fun with learning the language because it was strictly time framed and, you know, based on objectives and goals. But apart from that, if you do not know the language, if you cannot understand the language, it is very difficult to get integrated in the Swiss system. Getting a job, making friends, just going out, you have to understand at least the language, and so you cannot escape it. That's just how it is. And I find it also very beautiful to learn a new language and to be able to communicate with the people that you get to know, or, you know, in your new environment and new country. So learning the language made actually things super easy for me, integrating, making friends. Like I said before, it is very difficult to make Swiss friends, and I would say yes to that, but I do have Swiss friends, and very good ones, not colleagues, because Swiss would usually say, you know, this is my colleague and all that. And I used to feel, okay, if I'm just your colleague, there are certain boundaries. You know, friendship for me means a lot than if someone calls me my colleague. A colleague is someone I consider that I meet for a particular time, and after that it's done, like a co-worker or things like that. But a friend is someone I share my life with, someone I share my troubles with, and then be there for the person while they are there for me as well, and things like that. But you know, they would even call their friends colleagues. I had troubles with that, but I spoke to my friends about it, and we're all friends now, so that's good. Yeah, so if you do not know the language, you cannot achieve so many things. Like I said, so many people come to me, patients especially, and they ask me, how did you get this job? Or how long have you been in Switzerland that you speak so good German and all that? And mind you people, my German is not niche perfect. It's not so perfect yet, I find. But I can do everything for myself. I do not need anyone to do any translation for me or to write my letters on all that. Although I send my husband my letters, I'm like, can you please cross-check and all that? But it's still good. He does it and he loves doing it, so that is fine. Then Swiss German comes into play. When I was practicing High German, learning it and all that, and then I hear my mother-in-law around me, or sister-in-law, or my husband speak in Swiss German, or when I'm at the uni, my friends during break hours, they will speak in Swiss German. I used to totally disconnect myself from the conversation because I thought, I'm trying to learn the High German here. I'm not good learning or listening to another language because I find it is a totally different, the dialect is totally different for me, and it's just gonna confuse me and I will never get better at the High German, and neither the Swiss German. So I concentrated fully on my High German, and 2 years later I realized it is important to understand the Swiss German, because then I started practicing my career and meeting patients, and patients are very nice. They will usually come and ask, oh, do you want us to do the consultation in High German? I'm like, yeah, that would be nice. When we start, people, trust me, after 2-3 minutes, they completely switch to the Swiss German without even realizing it. So, they mean it nicely, but then it's just what they know. It's a language, so you don't blame them for that. That's when I said to myself, okay, I have to learn to understand the language. I do not have to speak it, and Swiss people would even tell you, do they expect us to speak Swiss German, but understanding it would be nice, because you would meet people that would forcefully not speak High German to you. They will speak Swiss German to you because they expect you to know it. If you decide to move to Switzerland or be here or get married to a Swiss or work here, you have to learn Swiss German, which I think is a very extreme point. I'm not saying we should not and all that, but then you cut someone a slack if they know the High German. They don't really have to speak the Swiss German. But hey, we're all different, and then everybody finds a way to deal with it, and then my way of dealing with it was trying to understand it. And at this point in time, I can understand every single thing, unless if they are from a different region of Switzerland that speaks German. But to clarify something, it's not only German you have to learn. It depends on where you live in Switzerland, because there are areas that speak French, like in Geneva and all that, and you have areas that speak Italian and Retro-Romanish. So depending on where you live, you learn the different languages. But my experience is with German because I live in the German area. That is why I'm talking about the German part. Social rules. One of the most important social rules in Switzerland is punctuality. Being on time, people. Being on time. And as an African, I know how to be 2 hours late, an hour late, 30 minutes late. So when I got here, and then even like informal occasions, my husband would be running, and then like, yeah, baby, we need to get there. I'm like, it's informal. We're just meeting your friends. Chill out. Taking some deep breath and all that. Then I did not understand how important it was, until after a while I realized people are always on time, like on the old clock. But it was never a difficult issue for me to adapt to, because I was very punctual. Like, you could ask my friends, they always used to call me as in like, hey, do we meet? I'm like, oh, are you picking me up? I'm like, no, thank you. I think we could meet there, because I know that they would be, or I knew that they would be coming 30 minutes later or stuff like that. So I just go on time, do my things, and wait on them. So punctuality, people feel disrespected, offended when you fix an appointment with them and then show up late. And this is something that, when I go back to the Gambia now, I have troubles with, like, people show up late. You call them like, I'm on the way, I'm coming. Like, okay, exactly when are you going to be here? I'm right there. Like, just give me 5 minutes. 5 minutes turns out to be 30 minutes. It turns out to be an hour. I'm like, hey, I do not mind. Tell me if you're going to be here in 2-3 hours. It's fine. I will do something in these 2-3 hours. So, it was just quite interesting for me to see all these differences, evaluating them, and experience experiencing them as well was just for me super interesting. And as I always say, these are the things that enrich my life that I am super happy about, because I can always talk about the differences between the two cultures and why one culture is so developed to a stage where people are stressed out because everything has to work, like, you know, everything is ruled out, regulated, and without that it doesn't work, and or you know, you don't get what you want. And then the other one is just rules and regulations are there, but people can go past the rules, people can go past the regulation, and nothing happens. So it's just two different cultures that combining the good parts from both of them makes me like a better person, and a person that who can actually analyze both and then give to the people that I meet the best of me every time, anytime. So if you have not subscribed to the channel yet, this would be the time for you to subscribe, like the video, share the video, comment, and if you have a different experience in your integration process, you can share it with us for us to learn and hear the differences as well. So until then, I wish you all a very good weekend.